I got my deck list for Mimighoul. This is what I played in the Worlds qualifiers on Master Duel for the first stage. I was able to get to 20 with it. It was kind of a struggle with this deck. I'm playing the Fiendsmith variant, but there's also the Snake Eyes variant and the Pure variant. Personally, right now, I like the Pure Stun variant and the Fiendsmith version of it the most. The Fiendsmith engine either baits my opponent into activating hand traps before they would like normally do that. Like it baits my opponent into activating hand traps on cards that I don't care if they get ashed, if that makes sense. Like I'd rather bait the activation of Ash or another hand trap and deal with it than have something like Dragon negated by Ash. But that's just me. And the Fiendsmith engine not only does that, but most of the time can even play through them. So I just feel like it's the best variant of this deck right now. And going into that, we have Fabled Lurie for our Fiendsmith engine. We have one Lacrima, the Crimson Tears for our Fiendsmith engine. Uh, two Fiendsmith Engraver. And one Tract. We are not running a second copy of Tract. I was breaking it too much. You can if you want, but I just felt like it wasn't really needed. So that's pretty much it for our Fiendsmith side package for the main deck. For the extra deck, we got one Lacrima, and this is just pretty much standard for this deck at this point. One Necroquip Princess and one Fiendsmith Desiree. And then, of course, we have one Requiem and one Sequence. And then, of course, we're running the one DDD Wave King High Caesar for extra negate power. And that's pretty much it for our Fiendsmith package. So, finally, we're going to get into the Mimighouls. And the Mimighouls are all awesome. They all have flip effects. It's a flip archetype, but it basically forces your opponent to take the flip monsters, have them on their field, and also stuns your opponent. So I'm going to read every one of these just because they are different, and some of the summoning effects have different conditions. So, Mimighoul Dragon. This is probably one of the better cards for the deck. Definitely a 3 of. If it's the main phase, apply these effects in sequence. Destroy all face-up monsters you control except Mimighoul monsters, and then give control of this card to your opponent. And its other effect is during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field and face down defense. So you give this to your opponent, you trigger the effect later to flip up, it's going to pop your opponent's board, and then give control of it back to you. And then its last effect is if it's normal or special summon. So if you normal this or special summon this face up, you can add one Mimighoul spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect to Mimighoul Dragon once per turn. It's a hard once per turn. I believe they're all hard once per turns. But this is definitely the best card in the deck. It can Regeki your opponent's board. Well, best monster in the deck. It can Regeki your opponent's board, gives you a free monster on board, and it can also add a spell or trap. So, insanely useful. Archfiend, also a 3 of in my opinion. If it's the main phase, apply these effects in sequence, flip. If your opponent draws a card, so you get to draw a card, and then send one card from your hand to the graveyard, and your opponent is going to send a card from their hand to the graveyard. Because ideally, you're giving them this to flip, and since you're their opponent, you draw the card, and they have to send a card, and then they give you control of the Archfiend. And during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field and face down defense position, so you give this to your opponent. And if this card is normal or special summoned, you can change one face down monster on the field to face up attack or defense position. You can only use each effect of Mimighoul Archfiend once per turn, so it's a hard once per turn. And these effects, these are all very decent because like you can summon the Mimighoul Archfiend to your opponent's field face down defense, and if you have like another Archfiend in hand, if you really wanted to make your opponent discard a card and you really needed the draw, you could then summon your Archfiend and flip the one you give to your opponent up, and then you'll have 2 monsters on your board. Your opponent will be down a card, and you will have drawn a new card, and you'll be able to go into the XYZs, which we'll talk about in a bit. There are better plays to do than that. I just wanted to make everybody aware that you can Archfiend and Archfiend in the same turn. Mimighoul Fairy, most people run 2. I'm actually running 3. I feel like I might switch to doing 2 Fairy and 2 Slime, and I might test that, so be aware that that's also an option. But for now, I am running 3 Fairy. So, flip effect, if it's the main phase, apply these effects in sequence. All of these require it to be the main phase. Don't think you'll get their effect attacking into them during battle. So, this turn, you cannot activate the effects of monster special summon from the hand. So your opponent won't be able to activate monster effects that are special summoned from the hand. That's useful. And then give control of this card to your opponent, so you get this card. During your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field and face down defense position. Or if you control a Mimighoul monster, you can special summon this card face up on your field. So, pretty decent. You can only use each effect of Mimighoul Fairy once per turn. Next we have Mimighoul Slime. It's another flip effect. Also has to be the main phase for the flip effect. Your opponent, that being you, because ideally you give this to your opponent. Your opponent can special summon 1 Mimighoul monster from their deck to their field. So you give this to your opponent, you flip it up, you get a free Mimighoul. Give control of this card to your opponent, and then he goes over to your side of the board. During your main phase, you can special summon this card to your opponent's field and face down defense position. Or if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card face up on your field. You can only use each effect of Mimighoul Slime once per turn. Next we have 2 Maxi, 2 Ash, and then 1 Mimighoul Master. You do not need more than 1 for the deck unless you're really worried about it getting banished. And even if it does get banished, you can play around that. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while your opponent controls any face-down monsters, or you control a Mimighoul monster other than Mimighoul Master. You can only use each of the following effects of Mimighoul Master once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Mimighoul monster from your deck to your hand, except a Mimighoul Master. During your opponent's main phase quick effect, you can change 1 face-down monster they control to face-up attack or defense position. So there is one of the ways you can flip up the Mimighouls on your opponent's board during their turn. This card is very good. It's just that's just it. It's just very good. Like, even though it only adds a monster, it can't add a spell or trap, you could always get Master, and then there's ways to special out Dragon on board and then use Dragon effect. So it's like you can still even do that. You can just be like Master, Master, grab Dragon. It's really useful in general. Next we have... Oh yeah, we covered those already. Fiendsmith package. Next we have the 2 Nibiru. I like running 2. You can run 0 to 1. Or 0... Sorry, you can run 0 to 2 of this card. If you don't want to run it, you don't have to. But I find like it helps a lot, personally, right now in the current meta. 1 Triple Tactics talent because it's spicy. If your opponent activates a monster effect during your main phase this turn, activate one of these effects. Since you can flip up the Mimighouls your opponent has, and then they activate an effect, essentially, then you can do this to rip another card out of their hand if you want. This card is really spicy in this deck, and so is Thrust. Like, if you activate one of the Mimighouls, your opponent's activate a monster effect, and if they have another monster, you can just straight up get any card to your hand. It's busted. It's absolutely busted. So, like, you can give your opponent 2 Mimighouls, flip one up, and then you have a live Triple Tactics Thrust after. Like, this card's actually insane in this deck. I'm only running 1 because I kept breaking them when I was running more than 1 of each. We covered Tract. 3 Maker. So this is definitely second best card in the deck, probably. Reveal 2 flip monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to special summon to their field and face down the fence. And you add the other to the hand. Then you can special summon 1 Mimighoul monster from your hand. If your opponent special summons a monster or monsters except during the damage step, You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one face down monster your opponent controls, change it to face up attack or defense position. You can only use one Mimighoul Maker effect per turn and only once that turn. This card is awesome because it flips up the Mimighouls you give to your opponent and it lets you do insane first turn combos. So most of the time people will either grab Dragon or Archfiend because either your opponent's getting the Regeki on their board or your opponent's getting the Neg1. I like to go Archfiend Slime, even more so if I already have Dragon in my hand. Plus, if I set the Slime to their board, it's just awesome because then I can not even normal summon, special summon the Archfiend off Maker, flip the Slime up, and then special summon Dragon from my deck, and then get Dragon effect. Like, this card's good. Next we have Mimighoul Dungeon. This is the best card in the deck for sure. Mimighoul monsters you control that were not normal or special summoned this turn gain attack equal to their defense. So make sure tiny monsters less tiny. Any player who controls a face down monster cannot normal summon monsters nor declare an attack with monsters that were special summoned this turn. During your main phase, you can add one Mimighoul monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect in Mimighoul Dungeon once per turn. So this is good because 1, it lets you add a free Mimighoul monster. 2, it buffs all your guys. And then 3, which is the most important thing, if you give your opponent a Mimighoul, they have to make the choice of not being able to normal or having to flip up your Mimighouls and hope that you don't put another face down card on their board to where they're unable to normal summon. Because a lot of decks still need the normal summon, and this can really mess with that. Also, being a floodgate that special summon monsters can't attack you during the turn they're special summoned, also pretty decent. Next we have 2 Summoning Curse. This card's hilarious. I've been playing this in attack in this deck for a while. I played this way back in the day when it first released. I just love trolling people with this. You don't need to run this in your Mimighoul deck unless you really want to. I personally love whenever I open a bunch of Mimighouls and Summoning Curse because I can just do shenanigans to my opponent. So, if a monster is special summoned, the current controller of that monster or monsters banishes 1 card from their hand. So you play this, you special the Mimighoul to your opponent's board. Now your opponent must banish a card from their hand. So you're like, here's this Mimighoul, and for me giving you this Mimighoul, I'm gonna rip a card from your hand. It's just insanely cheesy. Once per turn during your end phase, pay 500 or destroy this card. So if you don't want to keep this card on board, because like you are planning on using Slime or something, you can just not pay the 5 and just let it pop itself. Absolutely busted. This is definitely a win more card, but it's also one of those cards that like if I open with enough Mimighouls, this is just a blowout against my opponent. Also, it makes Max C interactions really funny because it's like you play this, your opponent Max C's, you special summon to their board, they draw a card and immediately have to remove a card. It's just really funny. 1 Book of Moon, this is really useful sometimes. It's also a really good stun card. I found like running the 1 book is just really good at certain points of the game. Plus, it makes dungeon live, so like your opponent normal, so you can then book it anyway. And then the floodgate effect of dungeon is an effect. Like, this is just a good card in this deck. 2 Call By, 3 Imperm, 2 Room, Mimighoul Room, pretty decent. Special summon a Mimighoul monster from your hand or deck to your field, or face down to your opponent's field, also making the field spell live, which is great. Then you can change 1 face-up monster on the field to face down defense position. So if your opponent has something on the board that's annoying, you can basically also use this as a Book of Moon. It's very useful. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target any number of Mimighoul cards you control, return them to the effect. Sorry, return them to your hand, not the effect. I was saying that it's a quick effect, kind of. Like, if your opponent activates Regeki, you can actually respond with this, and it's really funny because you just be like, oh, you're going to Regeki my board or whatever, I'm just going to bounce all my guys back to my hand or bounce them back to reuse them. Just so many good options. Or bounce them back to give to your opponent. This card's very good. I felt like 3 was too bricky, and 2 is the perfect number. Plus, it's easy to search with Dragon. And then finally, there can be only 1 because all your stuff is face down anyway. The only time this card is annoying is if you're trying to have Giant and Throne on board at the same time. But this card is insanely good. So now we're going to get to Extra Deck. We're actually teching the 1 Shaddoll construct. It's any 2 flip monsters. During your main phase, you can fusion summon a Shaddoll fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. We are playing our good buddy El Shaddoll Winda because it is hilarious. What do we even have in here that's dark? How do we even make that? Everything's earth. Why am I running this? Do I even have anything that's dark? Oh yeah, I do. I made it with like Princess before. It's kind of funny I'm running that for like the 1 tech choice, and for me to even make it, I have to put like embodiment or something else on board. But we are playing it. If you are playing this card, realistically, and I should probably be doing this too, I should take my own advice. You'd be running like more dark monsters. It is kind of annoying that none of them are dark. They're just all earth, but it is what it is. So 1 Winda, only if you're feeling extra spicy like I am. Really, if I need the extra deck space, these 2 are going out, but I don't really need the extra deck space right now. I might add like 1 giant, so I'm going to troll and play Winda. If you want to play this deck a little bit more consistently, I would say probably run a 2nd giant instead, and then maybe a 2nd Requiem, but I enjoy being a little spicy. Next we have Lacrima. I already covered that. Necro Princess. So you can actually bring this out even without the Fiendsmith engine, because this card, Throne, equips to Master. So after you already used the Throne effect, and if you want to like recur Master by making another Throne and then specialing, you can just make Necro Princess. It's just 1 monster equipped with a monster card and 1 fiend monster. It must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending the above card you control from your hand or field to the graveyard. If a monster is sent from the hand to the graveyard to activate a card or effect, activate one of these effects. Equip one of those monsters as an equip spell to this card. Give it 500 attack. Draw 1 card. You can only use this effect to Necro Princess once per turn. So it's decent. 1, number 31, Embodiment of Punishment. This card's pretty good. Once per turn, during either player's turn, detach material, change all monsters your opponent controls to face-up attack position. Also, all monsters your opponent controls must attack this turn if able. And you won't have crime, so it's not, the other effects don't matter. 1 Giant Mimighoul. 2 level 1 monsters. Your non-XYZ Mimighoul monsters can attack directly while your opponent controls a face-down monster. So that and the field spell are really decent. You can only use each of the following effects of Giant Mimighoul once per turn. When it's XYZ summoned, you can add a Mimighoul card from your deck to your hand. You can detach 1 card from this field, target face-up cards in the field, up to the number of face-down monsters your opponent controls. Destroy them, then inflict 1,000 to your opponent for each card destroyed. Absolutely bonkers effect. Next we have Throne, 2 level 1 Mimighoul monsters. You can detach 1 material from this card, special summon 1 Mimighoul master from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During the main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 Mimighoul master you control, equip this card to it as an equip spell, gives it 1,000 attack. Then you can return cards from the field to the hand up to the number of materials this card had. You can do that during your opponent's main phase as well. You can only use 1 Mimighoul Throne effect per turn, and only once that turn. 1 D2D Wave King High Caesar. I'm not going to go over him because by now everybody has played Fiendsmith and everybody has seen this card. 1 Zeus, same reasoning with Zeus. and then one Little Knight, one Fiendsmith Sequence, and one Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. And that is it for my deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. I'm going to show you some of the replays. Alright, here we go. Like, Mimighoul just does Mimighoul things. The deck is not hard to play at all. It's pretty linear, in fact. So my opponent's going first. They set 2, so I'm like, okay, this is going to be a softball game, probably. They max me. I have the call by. I have both call bys in hand, which is hilarious. I'm just like, okay, Engraver, bait something. They call by the Engraver, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we get the dungeon out. We get the Archfiend, bam, dragon, add maker, maker effect. Summon the fairy to them, summon the Archfiend. I kind of want to see what they got going on there. It's just a Fluos, so I flipped it up. I'm going to Throne into Master, Master into Dragon, summon another Archfiend to their field, summon a Slime to their field, set called by destroy the Fluos, and just be like, alright, it's your go. Let's play some YuGiOh. If you can't pop the field spell, you're in trouble. Unfortunately, they could pop the field spell. It's okay, we have Nibiru. Our opponent, I guess, dead drew, so they're not going to do anything. So, we just do the thing again. Rinse and repeat. I don't know why I wanted punishment there when I could have just played another Archfiend. Like, I could have won that turn, but whatever. Oh, I did win that turn, because I popped my own card for 1,000. That's so silly. I probably realized that I was like, oh, why don't I just do that? I love that you can steal games off people with the giant, the Mimighoul giant, just by the extra burn damage. Alright, so dungeon, dragon, dragon. I don't even know why I did that. This is like a weird way to open. I have 3 makers in hand. Like, what am I doing with my life? I'm just like, oh, okay. I should have made better decisions here. That's okay. We have room. My opponent's just gonna set 2. I mean, I had a lot of people just playing back row. It was weird. I'm not used to seeing back row so often. We get Summoning Curse, and at this point we're just like, oh, that's pretty sick. So here we go. Throne. Throne into Master. Master into Fairy. Play that Summoning Curse. Give her opponent the Fairy. Now they gotta get rid of a card in hand. Oh, this is so funny. What I make him ban? Oh, I made him banish Dark Ruler. And then give my opponent Dragon. That's another card for you, buddy. There goes your Magma Hut. And we're gonna keep Summoning Curse on the field, because if they special, we just want to be annoying and cheeky. And then one of our enemies, Droplet. The fact that Droplet can just be that annoying. You can just tribute your opponent's stuff to negate your opponent's stuff. Ugh. Droplet is like a major threat to this deck, but they still can't do anything because we basically just destroyed their hand, so good luck with that, buddy. And that's how a lot of my Mimighoul games went. I just kind of hand-ripped my opponent. So we're opening. Once again, we open the 2 call by. Must be nice, right? So bam, I don't know. Oh no, I know why I went slime because I went slime, archfiend, archfiend flip up slime, dragon, dragon into maker, maker into just even more cards, and then I don't know why I even summoned it, but I'm just like I'm gonna do things. Bam! Oh, there's another one. There's a third one. Wow, 3 archfiends in one turn, and then ghoul. Oh, because I wondered. Oh, because I just wanted to be like, here's my board. Don't have you storm me, bruh. No Bysteel for you. They're going to Lurry, and even if they were successful in getting a Lurry on the board, I had that there could be only one. I'm like, here you go. Bam, bam, don't return anything. And I'm going to make them dump a card, and I'm going to get a card, and then my opponent's going to do things, and they're just like, oh, I have nothing I can do. I lost here. That's a pretty aggressive opening. It's just Mimighoul is just kind of fast-paced stun, but it can brick. I had a decently hard time getting to 20 with this. I put this way too high on the tier list. I put this as tier 2. This is more like tier 3, verging on tier 4, being like non-viable. It's fun though. It's wickedly fun. Like I love playing the deck. Like here's me just doing the combo again. And once again, my opponent is going to duster me. I'm once again asking for your dusters. Oh boy. I got swamped and I'm like, okay, whatever. My opponent's just going to continue doing things. Now they're taking the Maxi challenge. Very desperate. I hope they summon again, because that means I can do things. And they don't, so I'm stuck on your Dragoons. But they have no cards in hand, so they can't use Dragoons. So, whatever. I just want to see how my opponent reacts to me doing Fiendsmith shenanigans right now. And then the dungeon comes out. That's how I get rid of it. I'm gonna throne it, aren't I? Because I'm pretty sure you can throne the Dragoons. Yeah, you can throne it. Okay, that was sick. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with those for the replays. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. I will see you guys in the next one, and let me know if you want more deck profiles down below in the comments. And name one that you want me to cover, I'll cover it. Bye-bye.